Hi friends, this is FirearmPop, and I'm glad to be here with you today. I have another edition in my Armed Citizen Stories. And this one comes out of, again, the honorary publication, First Freedom Magazine. Those of you that get this may realize that it is a week or two old. I have just been caught up with gun shows, prepping for gun shows. In the holiday season, I really haven't had much spare time at all. As a matter of fact, if you look back, my last videos are back in the beginning of December. I just have not been able to spend any time doing what I enjoy doing, unfortunately. Anyway, this is another edition of Armed Citizen Stories. Without further ado, let's get going on to the stories. Zachary Rogers, 26, was working late one night at his 21st Amendment liquor store. It was, yes, 21st Amendment. I thought that strange too. It was just past midnight when an armed man wearing a ski mask entered the store and forced Rogers and another store employee, Alicia, 25, down a hallway toward the office where the safe was kept. With a concealed handgun in his front pocket, Rogers chose his moment of opportunity carefully. In one quick motion, Rogers pushed Alicia to the floor and fired at the armed robber. He then helped Alicia into the office and out of the line of fire. Although the burglar had been struck, Rogers saw him raise his firearm. Rogers fired 3 more rounds at the gunman, which proved fatal. Neither Rogers nor Alicia were harmed, and this was in Indianapolis, Indiana. While at home with his wife and daughter, a homeowner prepared to go outside to investigate a sudden power outage. His wife asked him to carry his firearm with him as a precaution. As he opened the front door to step outside, 3 men charged him in an attempt to gain entry. The homeowner pushed his wife aside as he fell backward and fired at the intruders. His daughter, a student in her early 20s, hid in another room and called the police. One of the 3 home invaders suffered multiple gunshot wounds and was listed in serious condition. The remaining 2 suspects managed to escape. The homeowner and his family were not seriously injured, and this was in Miramar, Florida. Kendra St. Clair, a 12-year-old at home alone one day during her fall break, called her mother at work to say there was a man repeatedly ringing the doorbell and banging on the door. When no one answered the door, she said he disappeared. St. Clair's mother instructed her daughter to get her .40 caliber Glock pistol and go into the bathroom closet. St. Clair heard him break in through a back door. As the man made his way through her home, the 911 dispatchers kept St. Clair on the phone. He was inside the home for approximately 6 minutes before he made his way to the bathroom where St. Clair was hiding. When she saw the doorknob begin to turn, she fired the gun. The 32-year-old intruder was taken into custody after being treated for a gunshot to the chest, and that was in Durant, Oklahoma. Excuse me. Lots of things I like about that story. And as anybody who follows me knows, I don't like is the fact that she shot through the door. She shouldn't have done that. You don't know really who's on the other side of the door unless she spoke to him first. I realized she was a 12-year-old handling a 40 caliber Glock and probably scared stuffless. I don't know what to say. I guess kudos to her for having the presence of mind, to having the pistol. Probably saved her life, and other unspeakable things. So I can't say too much wrong about it. That act alone, I don't. Just want to make it clear you shouldn't do that. But she did protect her life. George, Polanin, 66, went to bed early one evening only to be awakened by noises coming from his home. He was upstairs and followed the sound of the footsteps to the basement. When he reached the stairs, George said he could see only the intruder's feet. I got my weapon and basically told him I had a weapon. It was loaded and I will use it. George said He then ordered the intruder to come out as he dialed 911. George held the intruder at gunpoint until the police arrived, and this is Kenosha, Wisconsin. Cindy Shatner, an employee at Finari Jewelers, was working when two men entered the store around 4 p.m. Cindy's boss, Anthony Finari, was sitting in the desk facing the showroom. Something about the men made Cindy uneasy, so she gave her boss a quiet warning right before the men pulled clothing over their faces and jumped over the counter. Finari quickly pulled his .38 caliber handgun from his desk and fired several rounds at one of the suspects as he came toward him. Finari was severely beaten as both men tried to gain control of his firearm. When Finari fought back, the men grabbed a display of gold chains and fled. One suspect was later taken into custody after seeking treatment for several bullet wounds. It was last reported that the second suspect was still at large. Finari suffered a broken nose, a concussion, multiple stitches to the face and hand, and a fractured rib. Cindy was reportedly unharmed, and this was in Chicopee, Massachusetts. Jack and Linda Dillon were roused from their sleep approximately 2:45 a.m. when they realized someone had just broken into their home. The intruder gained entry through an unlocked window. He allegedly entered the home with intent to steal electronics. Linda called 911 as Jack retrieved a firearm and confronted the 29-year-old intruder in his living room. Jack fired when the man lunged at him. The intruder's wound proved fatal, and that was in Elyria, Ohio. Well, folks, you know, we had stories here from ranging from a 12-year-old all the way up to a 66-year-old defending their lives. My biggest question when I see these stories and I read them to you is why weren't these stories in the press? How come all the bad guys get the press and none of the good guys get the press? People that defended their lives with the use of a firearm. I guess it's not their political agenda to do so. It disturbs me greatly, and we need to do everything we can to make these stories known to the public, because they don't know about it. So repeat the stories. They now more than ever contribute to the NRA organization. They're the only ones protecting our freedoms, and when you get the magazine, share the magazine with other people. It's not just the pictures of guns and rifles and that kind of stuff. Yes, there is that kind of stuff in the magazine and stories, but there are the armed citizen stories which really make it worthwhile. Plus, we need the NRA more now than ever. They're the only voice fighting in our behalf to what's going to be a myriad of onslaught. Okay. Anyway, this is FirearmPop. I hope you enjoyed these stories. Be safe out there, and God bless. Bye now.